How's it going, guys and girls? Hope you guys are having a great week. So I'm back today with a new video. Today I want to actually talk about Dragon Age Dreadwolf. We've received quite a lot of insights and news over the last couple of weeks on Dragon Age. I just haven't had the time to sit down, record my thoughts on it, because obviously I was working really hard on that Forspoken review, which is now out. Please go check that out if you haven't already done so. But today I do want to weigh in on Dragon Age Dreadwolf. It is a game I'm very much looking forward to. I'm a huge fan of Dragon Age. I've played all of the games. Origins is probably still my favorite, but I did really enjoy Inquisition, and I am really looking forward to the next entry in the series. So we got a couple of leaks this month which showed some gameplay footage and some screenshots from the game. I do want to talk about those leaks, but I won't be showing any of those leaks here in today's video because obviously I don't want to risk this video being blacklisted or copyright strikes or anything like that. But I will put links to all of the articles and information and the leaks as well in the comment section or in the description of this video, so you guys can go and check that out in your own time if you want to do so. Let's start off by delving into the article that was released on the 3rd of February, which was on the Insider Gaming website. And it kind of gave us a little bit more of an indication about where the game is. And it seemed to suggest or confirm that most likely Dragon Age Dreadwolf will not release in 2023. To be fair, I'm not surprised by a lot of, what this article is talking about. I actually never felt that Dragon Age Dreadwolf was going to release this year. We have seen so little actual, gameplay footage. A lot of the trailers that we've received have been just cinematics. We haven't actually seen any in-game footage, and that for me screams that the game just isn't ready. It's not finished, it's not in any state, and I would rather that Bioware do not give a set release date or release window, because personally that just puts pressure on the development team. But I predict if we're going to get it, it's going to be next year or even potentially the year after. But let's delve into the article and a little bit more information. So obviously Dreadwolf has been in development for quite a long time. Development on Dreadwolf began back in 2015, and during that 8-year development cycle it has seen some significant changes. Now, there were rumors to suggest that the game would come out in 2023, but the information in this article definitely suggests that those rumors are just far too optimistic. Sources apparently who have knowledge of the game and its progress, where it's at, have said that the game still lacks key features, completed character lines, and still contains the remnants of the game's past, which obviously abruptly changed back in early 2021. Now, if you don't know anything about that, Dragon Age Dreadwolf was originally pivoting towards being a live service game. It would be online only, it would have an online hub, and apparently was going to work similar to the way in which Destiny does. Then in 2021, EA and Bioware decided to completely change direction on the game, and I think a large part of that came from the backlash and the poor sales performance of games like Anthem and obviously EA's other live service titles, which just did not perform or underperformed, and obviously backlash from the fans, because myself included and many others were not happy about this direction for Dragon Age. And so rightly so, Bioware decided to pivot back to being a single player only experience, and that information was confirmed, corroborated by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, who released an article on that in early 2021. Now, two sources in the studio have revealed that some of these multiplayer components are still actually to some degree in the current build of the game, with one source saying that the game still felt a little bit like Destiny in that there was a central hub where players could probably regroup before heading into the next mission. So maybe they could talk to companions or NPC characters. purchase upgrades and things like that before moving out. The Games Hub will still play a vital role in Dreadwolf, of course, but it's going to have a single player format. So maybe the hub is a little bit like the base in Anthem. Maybe it works in a similar way, possibly to that. As for when Dragon Age Dreadwolf is going to release, given the fact that it does have missing voice lines, there's still placeholder text in place apparently. I do not see this game coming out this year at all. I actually think it's still optimistic to predict that the game will come out next year in 2024. My prediction is actually that the game will come out potentially in spring, the first quarter of 2025. That's when I'm predicting that the game is going to be out, and that potentially maybe around June this year, or even the Game Awards at the end of 2023. It may be well then that we actually get a confirmed release date, potentially some gameplay footage. We'll have to see, obviously. These are purely my predictions. Let's delve and talk a little bit more into the gameplay. So apparently Dreadwolf will follow a similar gameplay loop to its predecessors, which will involve recruiting and growing your own crew, who you'll encounter by completing missions. Your recruited crew will populate this central hub, tower-like location, where you can give them different pieces of equipment and modifications as you progress throughout the game. It's also understood that you'll be able to move from the HUD to missions by passing through a mirrored portal of sort. As for combat, one source who recently played the game actually suggested that the game is becoming more akin to a hack and slash game compared to previous entries in the series, with the game's combat wheel being very similar to the one in Final Fantasy 15. And as for your crew, it is said that you currently cannot control them, but you are able to select abilities and give them instructions to a degree for powers that they can cast. So the gameplay seems to be very different and pivoting away, and the leaks that we saw about 2 weeks ago seem to confirm and corroborate, this information. And it's the gameplay I really want to delve into today and talk about my thoughts and my feelings on it. So let's go through, what the leaks actually saw and a little bit of background on it. So the leaks apparently came from a playtester who shared their recorded gameplay of Dragon Age 4. This was apparently an early alpha build of the game. The person that leaked the footage saw this recording, which was about 20 minutes worth of gameplay, and it involved one segment or dungeon in the game. The entire gameplay is set within the Grey Warden Fortress HQ of Wisehope. I'm very excited that the Grey Wardens are going to be back in Dragon Age Dreadwolf from the sounds of it. So I'm really looking forward to going back to that location. Apparently the player character is an Elvish Knight class. The character screen actually says they are a mid-level Grey Warden, which is interesting. They have a sword and a shield. And they also have 2 party members, another knight and a female dwarf rogue. Darkspawn were attacking at Wisehope, and there were roots all over the place alongside sort of red lyrium, which was popping up all around the place. Apparently some of the Darkspawn as well were infused with red lyrium and had kind of like glowing red eyes. So that's really cool. I'm glad to see that they're obviously still going to be exploring red lyrium, which is really awesome. Combat apparently is completely in real time, and it's similar to hack and slash. Apparently the play tester told this person that a lot of the guiding reference point for the combat in Dragon Age Dreadwolf was God of War 2018, and that really does show in even some of the leaked footage I've seen. I didn't get to see the full 20-minute clip, of course. It was just short snippet footage and then obviously screenshots, but you could definitely see those influences there of God of War. The player has a regular combo attack and then abilities, as well as a special bar which generates, allowing them to pull off a special super move. So It's very action heavy, very action focused. Apparently there was no party control demonstrated at all, and it didn't seem like you were able to switch to other party members like you have been able to do in previous entries. It seems more akin to Mass Effect, where you would pull up the wheel and you would give instructions to your companions, and you would maybe, combo off of the back of that. Apparently the action is a lot closer to the player as well, so it's a much more third person over the shoulder kind of camera angle, where you are closer to the action, as opposed to previous Dragon Age games where you've been able to actually adjust the camera and you can actually be much further away from the action, which gives you more of a tactical view of the battlefield and obviously the enemies. Apparently animation quality is drastically improved according to the person that saw the footage, so you can't really see that much in the short snippets I saw, but apparently it is an improvement. Jumping is also still a thing in Dreadwolf, and as the character was a sword and shield wielder, they were able apparently to parry attacks from enemies and follow up with counters, which is interesting. So yeah, apparently they had abilities, so they had 2 hotkeys along with a special. One appeared to be a kind of a drop kick move and the other a charged sword attack. When looking at the character inventory, we can also see as well that there is the ability to customize and equip different levels of gear, with the character having a chest slot, a helmet slot, primary weapon slot, and a shield, so a secondary weapon slot possibly. And there was capacity to slot things for accessories, like there was an amulet slot, a belt slot, and 2 ring slots as well. This is all very, similar to previous Dragon Age entries as well. So it's the gameplay section really that I want to talk about, and I kind of want to give my thoughts on it. Now, if I'm honest, this focused more towards action and becoming closer to, say, God of War or even Mass Effect. I'm not happy with that move. Personally speaking, that doesn't feel Dragon Age to me. I like the more tactical RPG nature of Dragon Age. I don't need God of War in my Dragon Age. I like being able to switch to different companion characters. I liked the fluidity of combat, of being able to, quickly switch to another character and, fling off some spells and set up combos. I liked the fact that in Dragon Age Inquisition, they had kind of the best of both worlds. So you could pause the action and you had like a tactical cam where you could, check out enemies and plan, your attack and queue up some things, and then obviously release that tactical cam. And then obviously the action would then kick off. I like the more tactical nature of Dragon Age combat. And my worry is that this game, even though it's set in, a Dragon Age setting and a story and characters, my concern is that if the gameplay is so different, that it won't actually feel like Dragon Age. And it does worry me because EA has this tendency to chase trends, and generally speaking it never works out for them, because rather than being an innovator and pushing new ideas and new chasing these trends, they are often 5, 6, 7 years late to that trend, and by that point the other games have released that use similar kind of combat style. God of War now, there are many other titles that are trying to utilize and use that God of War over the shoulder action heavy combat, and that works for God of War, but I really don't think it'll work for Dragon Age. I don't think it's needed. Same in terms of not being able to control companions and making it more Mass Effect. Again, I don't need that. I have that in Mass Effect, and hopefully we will have that in the next Mass Effect. Keep Dragon Age different, keep it unique. They won awards with Dragon Age Inquisition. They won Game of the Year, I think, with Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, was it a perfect game? Absolutely not. There were many things they could definitely improve on, but still the core of what was there was good. And I actually really enjoyed the combat in Dragon Age. I liked the tactical nature of the combat in Dragon Age. So for me personally, I'm not excited by this move towards action and away from more tactical RPG. I personally, I'll play it, of course. I'm looking forward to the next Dragon Age, and I will give it a fair shot, go in with an open mind, of course. But if the reason they're doing this is just because they're chasing trends, because God of War is popular and is winning all of these awards and therefore they want to cash in on that, then that is the wrong reason to do it. I'm very interested to see where this move has come from in terms of them focusing on that. Hopefully it'll still be good. Hopefully you'll still feel a certain degree of tactics in terms of giving your companions instructions and controls. If you're not able to control your companions, it does mean as well that the AI needs to be good. The companion AI does need to be good so that they can handle themselves in a fight, obviously, while you occasionally give them, orders left and right. So personally, not massively blown away by this news. If I'm honest, actually, the more I'm learning about Dragon Age Dreadwolf, the more concerned I am becoming. This game has been in development now for 8 years. Now, of course, yes, in 2021, it completely pivoted, and that's going to involve a lot of work. But it feels a little bit like the game, I don't know, it feels like if it's going more towards like God of War, it feels like the people working on it don't get what makes Dragon Age great, don't understand what makes the original Dragon Age so beloved by fans, and that does concern me. And I'm kind of not surprised that maybe there isn't this kind of vision of what Dragon Age should be, because obviously in the last several years we have had this exodus of key leadership in Bioware that is concerning. Back in 2020, Casey Hudson, who was then studio manager, left, and then Dreadwolf executive producer Mark Dara left in December 2020. This was before they made the shift towards single player. On the 24th of November 2021, the senior creative director on Dragon Age 4, Matt Goldman, left Bioware, and he'd been working on Dragon Age since 2017. Christian Daly, who then replaced Mark Dara as executive producer, left in February 2022. And then recently, Mark Walters, who became the production director of Dragon Age Dreadwolf at the beginning of this year, left Bioware after working at the company for 19 years. What this does show to me is a lot of the seasoned leadership that created the original Dragon Age games and Mass Effect games, that they have left. They are gone. And my concern is the people that are left in charge don't have that history, that connection to the original titles. So I hope they've played them. I hope they understand what makes them great. But I am worried that Dragon Age Dreadwolf is a little bit directionless, or it doesn't have a clear vision. It's one of the problems that Anthem had, was this lack of vision, this lack of leadership. And that seems to be a real problem in Bioware at the moment. So obviously we don't know. This is all speculation. This is all purely my own speculation, voicing my own concerns. My concerns may be completely unjustified, and I hope they are unjustified, because I really do want Dragon Age Dreadwolf to be successful. I think it is very important that it does well, and obviously there will be a lot of pressure on the team for it to perform, especially after the recent flop of Anthem. But yeah, I'm concerned. I am concerned about Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and obviously I do want to see more, and I am hoping that Bioware will release something decent to show us, to alleviate people's concerns, because obviously leaked footage, the quality of that footage is not always going to demonstrate or show the game in the best possible light. So I do think that Bioware do need to publicly announce something at some point. Most definitely this year we need to see something from the game. There's too much smoke and mirror for me with Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and the more smoke and mirror that they use with showing us cinematics but no actual gameplay, the more concerned I'm kind of becoming. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on obviously the leaked footage with Dragon Age Dreadwolf and, you know, the Insider Gaming article. What are your thoughts on this pivot towards more action focused combat rather than the tactical combat that we used to have in previous editions? What are your thoughts on that move? Do you like it? Are you pleased by it? What concerns do you have? And what are your thoughts on Dreadwolf, and when do you predict it's going to come out? Please do share those thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoy just listening to me ramble on my general thoughts on things. This is completely unscripted, just ad-libbed, so I hope you guys enjoy this style of video. Thank you so much to everybody obviously for supporting the channel. Special shout out of course to my Patreons and YouTube members for going the extra mile in supporting the channel. It is massively appreciated. If you did enjoy the content, do like, do subscribe, do follow, hit that notification bell. It really does matter at the moment, especially given just how poor YouTube's algorithm is, and so it does really matter. It does really count. So if you do enjoy the content, please do make sure that you do that to show your support. Anyway, hope you guys have a great week, of course. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. I should go.